Hi everyone, my name is Mary Beth. Welcome to my channel. So today we're going to ask, I have it written down right here, is your perspective limiting your success? So we're going to kind of ask which perspectives of yours is limiting your success on the twin flame journey. But we're also, I think we're going to look at what perspectives are actually helping you as well. So which ones are hindering you, which perspectives are helping you, and which perspectives are hindering you on your twin flame journey. So let's start with this deck and see what we get. I'm going to go ahead and go like that and see what we get here. All right, for the collective, please, for the collective. What perspectives are limiting right now? What perspectives are limiting for the viewers, for the collective? What perspectives are limiting their success on the twin flame journey? What perspectives are limiting the collective right now on this twin flame journey? 3 cards, please. 3 cards. Which perspectives? Okay, so we got, first one we got is movement. So what I'm getting from this is that some of you are expecting some kind of movement, like a racehorse here. So normally it's very slow moving on the twin flame journey. Everything moves super, super slowly. Everything is moving at its own pace. It's all about patience. It's all about working on oneself. And the movement isn't very rapid, I have to say. So the perspective that something has to start moving quickly is going to hinder your success here if you expect a fast outcome. And really, it's all on the journey anyway. That's where all the learning is, really not in the, when you actually get the success, right? Like once you have it in your hands and now you're living it. I know it's going to sound weird, but what ends up happening is that you just end up taking on a whole other journey. It's like your soul wants another challenge. So it's like, well, we completed that challenge. Let's start a new one. So you might as well just take your time. Okay, the one is wishing. So when you're wishing for something, it means right now you see lack in your life. So something's lacking if you're wishing for something. And so this perspective is also limiting you on your twin flame journey instead of seeing what you already have and seeing how you're already whole. All right, and then what does this one say? This one says confidence reversed. Yep, so that's also going to be very limiting. You know, if you don't have confidence in yourself, if you don't have confidence in your twin flame, if you don't have confidence in your soul, if you don't have confidence in God, if you don't have confidence in spirit that they've led you on this awesome twin flame journey, just to make you miserable, and you're not being very confident that this is helping you, or maybe you're not being very confident that you are going in the right direction. That's also, this perspective is also limiting your success. But let's ask this deck, what perspectives are helping you? What perspectives are helping you? And let's do 3 cards, please. What perspectives are actually helping the viewers? For the collective, what's the perspective that everyone's having in the collective that's helping out in their journeys? 3 cards, please. 3 cards. What is interesting? So we have invisible. So when it comes to being invisible, it's almost like this is actually a really good perspective, and this is actually helping you to be super successful. And the reason why is because you're learning to understand that this journey is not everybody's, and that most people probably can't relate to what you're going through, or they think you're just being silly, because you're going within and you're trusting your intuition and you feel things. And even though there's nothing proving it so in the physical, there's nothing on the outside that is proving you to be correct. And everything's invisible, right? Like everything is invisible, and the fact that you know it to be true, even though it's invisible, and no one can talk you out of it. So they said that is a very good perspective. This perspective is very much helping you, and this will get you far. Understanding that everything you believe in, everything that you know, is at this time invisible, but it's actually there. It's all energy. Energetically, everything is already here. We're not missing anything. All right, so we have don't forget reverse. So it's really just telling you to forget, right? It's almost like telling you, so when your perspective is, I'm going to just forget everything I've learned, and I'm just going to seriously, if this is your perspective where it's like, forget everything I learned, I am on a whole new path, that what I've learned doesn't apply to me anymore. I'm in a whole other dimension, and this is what I'm working on now, and all old rules don't apply anymore. That is going to super duper help you. You are doing really, really well now with this perspective. Okay. And then summon is reversed, right? So it's almost like there is nothing to summon. Everything is right here. Nothing to summon towards you. If you have the perspective of everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be, or whatever it is I'm working towards, it's going to come in its own sweet time. Let's say you're working on a project. I know I am. I'm working on a project right now, and in my mind I'm like, oh, I really want this done by January of 2023. Well, I'm not summoning it. I'm working towards it, right? I'm just saying, okay, this is something I'm working towards, and I'm hoping by January 2023 it comes to fruition. If it doesn't, that's okay. Then maybe it'll happen in spring of 2023. But it's just a project that I'm working on, something I'm trying to get off the ground career-wise. And so it's just working towards a goal slowly and taking your time and not putting a lot of pressure on yourself, and feeling like, it's going to come in its own time. That perspective is also helping you to be super duper successful. All right, and then we'll just ask this deck, and then that will be it. So let's ask this deck. Okay, so what perspective is hindering the Oops. Which perspective is hindering the collective, please? 3 cards. 3 cards. What perspective is hindering the collective, please? What perspective, please? 3 cards. 3 cards. Which perspective is hindering the collective? What is hindering success in the twin flame journey for the collective at this time? 3 cards, please. 3 cards. 3 cards. What's hindering? What's hindering the perspective? What's hindering? What's hindering? Alrighty, what we got here? Mentor reverse, inability to allow the student to move on to role of master, imparting false instruction. Yeah, so if you're, what I'm getting from this is, if your perspective is that you always need a mentor and you're not feeling like you're in that mentor position, that is hindering you. So the antidote to that is to pass on your wisdom. Pass on your wisdom, understanding that whoever you're passing this wisdom on to will then become their own master. Yeah. And so, or it could be, you know what, you received a bunch of mentoring, and now it's time to be the master. You're no longer the student. Okay. So if you do feel like you're a constant student, which we are in a way, but if there are some things that you've mastered already, go ahead and share that. Now, lover reversed. Obsessive passion that harms others, self-destructive devotion. Yeah. So this is going to hinder your success in the twin flame journey if you're feeling like very obsessive about your twin flame. Your devotion is very nice and it's very kind, but at the same time, it's limiting your success. And this doesn't mean not to be devoted. This just means understanding that there's nothing to be obsessed over. There's nothing to really think about, to dream about. It's like it's already here. Like there's nothing missing. There is no lack. There is nothing to obsess over about. It really. And then they say the antidote is great passion and devotion and appreciation. So it's almost like you can appreciate what you have now, not appreciate something that might come or might not. Because they say that's kind of self-destructive because now you're living in the future. The future is, of course, the ghost lands. There's so many timelines in the future that it can switch very, very quickly. It could switch for the better. It could switch for the worse. Whatever and really your soul's in control, I think. Still trying to figure that out. The soul's playing a big part, but I'm trying to figure out where the soul fits in exactly. But anyway, and how I think it's more our vibration really. Our vibration kind of controls which timeline we go into and our direction, and really for what our soul wants to learn. Okay. Now this was interesting because it came out upright, and it says visionary. Capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. And that sounds very positive now, doesn't it? And it was upright. But my guides are saying this is hindering. If you have this perspective that you have this envisionment of the future, and this is how it's going to be, and you're kind of stuck on this timeline, chances are it's not going to be the timeline. Chances are you need to expect the unexpected. Like what you're not expecting is what's going to happen. So just make that your new motto, expect the unexpected. What you're envisioning is definitely a timeline, but it may not be the timeline. And my nose is itching, so I'm getting a confirmation on that one. So anyway, yeah, so what they're saying is that, yeah, we all have visions and we all get dreams and we all see a timeline. We're all pretty psychic in that way, but we don't see all the timelines, and we don't see all the choices. And even though we see the possibilities, it doesn't mean it's the possibility or it's the thing. And so they're saying don't get hooked on whatever vision you're having, because it could definitely switch and be like a surprise. And, again, expecting the unexpected would probably be, a more fun journey. Be like, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that to happen. And, but let's get 3 more cards to see what perspective is helping you in your success in your twin flame journey. So let's have 3 cards, please. What perspective for the collective? What 3 perspectives, please, for the collective is being had when it comes to having success with the twin flame journey? 3 cards, please. What is 3 successful perspectives for the collective? For the collective, what is the successful perspectives that people are having to have success on this twin flame journey? What is the successful ones? What's interesting is that they all came out reversed. Let me just see here. Interesting. Okay, so what's actually helping you is this is so weird because so this is what they're telling me is that these are all shadows that are helping you. So please know that when we do make errors and we do make mistakes and we're sitting in the shadows, it means it's helping us the most for a reason. And so we have student reversed here. Okay. And so what this is saying how is that sometimes when we learn things, we use it to be more self-destructive. And when we have the perspective that we understand this, right? We understand that we're getting all this life advice from soul or God, or we're getting all these hits and our intuition, and we're learning how to grow, and we're learning to expand, and we're learning to evolve. There is some kind of, when you recognize that sometimes we have some kind of arrogance and we don't translate it correctly sometimes. Like sometimes we're getting this knowledge and we think, and we're getting knowledge, and we're translating it a certain way. And then but it's becoming more self-destructive rather than constructive, because it's taking us down because we're misinterpreting the lessons. We're misinterpreting it. We're translating it into something that's not for the best for us. And so, but we're trying to put a square peg in a round hole, and understanding that, having that perspective of, I'm being a little bit self-destructive right now as the student. Maybe I'm not translating this correctly. Now, that was definitely me for a good long while there, where I just was not, because I had no idea what any of this was. I didn't know what a twin flame was when I first heard it. I knew nothing about the twin flame. I wasn't a part of that until I met my twin flames, and then it wasn't like literally 2 years later that I even figured out what a twin flame, that I had never. 2 years after meeting my twin flame, then I heard the term twin flame. Then I understood that's what it was. So I really misinterpreted all my lessons. I didn't know what it was all about. I just didn't. And so, yeah, so it's just an awareness. Yeah. All right. And then here's another shadow that we're working on. This is called scribe. Okay. Kind of the same thing, right? So scribe is reversed. Let me just show you the card. And it shows a picture of someone writing down a bunch of knowledge, right? And so they're preserving the knowledge. That's what a scribe does, preserves the knowledge and all the information. Now, again, plagiarizing is one thing about copying someone else's. First of all, you can't copy someone else's journey. Someone else's journey is not yours. Secondly, you might be altering the facts. And again, it's nothing good or bad. It's just an awareness, right? So if you have the perspective that this is going to help you really on your twin flame journey, is to have this awareness that I might be preserving the wrong kind of knowledge. The knowledge that I'm getting, or that I think I have, I think I'm misinterpreting it, and now I'm preserving it. On top of that, living by this lesson, this golden rule of mine, this new way of doing things, and just having the awareness that you may be altering the facts about it based on someone else's opinion, based on someone else's experience. And I promise you, most people that you meet who claim to be with your twin flames are not with their twin flames at all. They're with their soulmate. They're just not with their twin flames. It's just, I'm convinced of that. Because the twin flame journey is about, it's not about ending up with the person. The twin flame journey is about self. It's like expansion. It's having a relationship with God. It's about having a relationship with your soul. It's becoming more soul directed. It's becoming the best version of yourself, and then meeting the right person. It's just a whole different way of being in a relationship. It's about self-love, and then that self-love being reflected back to you. So what you're hearing from other people, you might be taking that as fact, and it's just having that awareness that, their journey is not yours, okay? And then the guide is also reversed. So again, another shadow, okay? And again, just another awareness. This awareness of these perspectives is going to really help you catapult you on your twin flame journey. Now, a guide will represent the nature of the divine and life in yourself, okay? And it's about imparting spiritual insight. That is a guide. It's like what the reason what I'm getting, the reason why this is reversed is that you're really getting inner guidance at this point. Like you're not really going outside of yourself for that guidance. Because if you go outside of yourself, again, from what I was saying, you're going to be preserving knowledge. You're going to be a student of someone else's experience, of someone else, like what's right for them is not necessarily right for you. And it might even be, that advice might even be destructive for you. Like what really works for that person may not work for you. And you'll know it because your life is kind of stuck, or it's not going in the right direction, or you're very sad, your vibration is very low. And that's how you know that advice or that teachings wasn't really yours, wasn't for you. And so this is saying, be your own guide. Really, you don't go outside of yourself for advice anymore. You're going within. So that's the next step, to go within. And then the next step after that, because after you go within and you get that advice, you'll start to almost embody it after a while, where it's almost like it's all around you, and you just like things where you're not specifically asking questions, where just knowledge is just downloaded into you. Then you have to understand what to do with it, type thing. So it really is becoming your own guide, and just understanding that your journey is different from other people's. Well, I do hope you enjoyed that. So those are the perspectives. So those were the perspectives that are going to help you on your twin flame journey. The ones that are that self-awareness is really the big one, right? Really knowing where you're out of balance. I really like what someone said. I was watching a Mind Valley, I think, and the person said something about stoicism. And they said the Stoics, what they'll do is they'll visualize what could go wrong. And then they'll figure out the antidote if it does go wrong. And this is how they prepared for their day, because in those days, things were very bad. Back in the day, people were just conquering other people's lands. It's just a regular thing. People were just kind of conquering each other. And it was very, very uncertain times. And when you learn to foresee, instead of visualizing the best day ever, oh la 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 la, life is going to be so great. So when something does hit where you weren't expecting and something does go wrong, now you're like, oh man, it was supposed to go right. Now what do I do? And so that's why this is the self-awareness is really good, to understand the self-destruction, to understand the shadows, and to understand, well, what's the antidote to that? So when things do go wrong, right? Because let's face it, no matter how much we try to have things go perfectly, the soul hits us a curveball here and there. Or I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's the soul or not. The universe hits us a curveball, right? And and so when we're prepared for it, we have like the antidote. We're like, well, when this happens, or if this happens, this is how I'm going to handle it. This is what I'm going to do. And so that's what you have to do with your self-awareness, understanding what you do that might be self-destructive. And so when something happens where it's like, if this happens during my day, and this is, let's say, I don't know, I get rejected, or I don't know, let's say I get yelled at work, whatever, right? You got to kind of picture the antidote. Like you just have to kind of say, well, what am I going to do? Like, well, how do I handle that? Like, what's my plan? And make sure you have that plan in place. So whenever that thing happens, like you get yelled at work, or, or somebody rejects you, or whatever, it's like you have this, okay, then this is my plan. And then usually you have a better day because you're planning for it. You knew it was going to happen. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, didn't you ask for it because you were visualizing it? Yes and no, but at the same time, I think it really has to do with your vibrations. So wherever your vibrations at, and karma and past lives. I think your past lives come back, and you just have to kind of, no matter how good or no matter how well you're being with your vibration in this lifetime, I'm a big believer that your past lives get repeated and they come back and they test you again, and you're you are going to face the same, not the same, but you're going to face kind of that situation in a different way to overcome it or to heal it. It's all about healing. So it's just about embracing any challenges that come up, which, yeah, and how you're going to handle it, you know. So anyway, when that guy mentioned that, you just have to kind of, I appreciated that perspective. Anyway, I do hope this helped you, and I do hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye now.